Welcome home, Mr. Warbucks.
It's good to be home.
How was your flight from Chicago?
Not bad. It only took 11 hours. Grace?
Yes, sir?
Messages.
President Roosevelt wants you to call him at the White House.
Tell him I'll get back to him tomorrow.
Sir?
It's great to see you all again.
Sir?
Drake?
Yes, sir?
Dismiss the staff. Grace, if you'll get your notebook, we can go over the figures on the shipments. Who is that?
This is Annie, Mr. Warbucks, the orphan who will be staying with us for Christmas.
That's not a boy. Orphans are boys.
You just said orphan, sir, so I chose a girl.
Oh, well, I suppose you'll have to do. Annie, huh? Annie what?
Oh, I'm just Annie, Mr. Warbucks, sir. I haven't got any last name. I'm sorry I'm not a boy.
Oh, I couldn't be happier. Grace, let's go over the figures from the iron ore shipments from Toledo. What are we supposed to do with this child?
It's our first night here, sir.
Well, Annie, your first night here, we ought to do something special for you. Would you like to go to the movies?
Gosh, Mr. Warbucks,
Then-
I've never been to one.
Then you'll go to the Roxy. Then to Rumpelmeyer's for an ice cream soda. Then a handsome cab ride around Central Park.
Golly.
Grace,
Yes, sir?
no dictation tonight. Instead, you take Annie to the movies.
Yes, sir.
Aw, gee.
Something the matter, Annie?
Well, it's just that I thought you were going to take me to the movies.
Me? Oh, no, I'm far too busy tonight.
Aw, gee.
You see, Annie, I've been away 6 weeks, and I'm running a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Oh, sure. I understand. That's okay, Mr. Warbucks.
Drake,
Yes, sir?
get our coats. Grace will come too, of course.
Yes, sir.
Ah, smell that. Fifth Avenue bus fumes. Annie, there's no air like the air of New York. And you don't realize how much you miss it? The whole damn city till you've been away from it for a while. Because like the man says, after New York, every place else is Boca Raton. NYC, what is it about you?
Cute time.
You're big, you're loud, you're tough. NYC, I go years without you, then I can't get enough of cab drivers answering back in language far from pure. Enough of Frankfurters answering back. Oh, brother, you know you're in NYC. Too busy, too crazy, too hot, too cold, too late. I'm sold again on NYC.
NYC, the shimmer of
Times Square, the pulse,
the beat,
the drive. NYC, you might say that I'm square, but damn, I come alive.
The city's bright as a penny arcade. It blinks, it tilts, it raves.
To think that I've lived here all of my life and never seen these things.
NYC. the place they love the best. Go California, pays big for their hearts. Their fan mail comes addressed to NYC. Tomorrow a penthouse that's way up high.
Tonight, the why not? It's NYC.
NYC, you're standing real lonely. You crowd, you cram, you're still the champ. Amen for
Why don't we go get some popcorn?
Immediate seating.
Give in, don't fight.
Thanks.
Good girl, good night. Sleep tight in NYC. Yes, Mr. President. No, I'm not asking you for help, but you got to do something. All right, we can talk about it on Friday. Listen here, Mr. President. Why don't you and me bury the hatchet, and you and Mrs. Roosevelt come here for supper Christmas Eve? You will? Wonderful. Goodbye, Mr. President. Grace,
Yes, sir.
find out what Democrats eat.
Yes, sir.
The package from Tiffany's?
Arrived this morning.
Fine, I'm going to give this thing to her and tell her I'm going to adopt her.
She's gonna be the happiest little girl in the whole world.
Get her down here.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Annie, can we have a man-to-man talk?
You're sending me back to the orphanage, right?
Of course not. Annie, I was born into a very poor family. Both my parents died before I was 10. And I made a promise to myself, someday, one way or another, I was going to be rich. Very rich.
That was a good idea.
But lately, I realized something. No matter how much money you got, if you don't have anybody to share your life with, if you're all alone, you might as well be broke. Annie, I was in Tiffany's the other day, and I picked this thing up for you.
For me? Gee, thanks, Mr. Warbucks.
Annie, it's a silver locket, and I always see you wear that old broken one around your neck, and I said to myself, I'm going to get that kid a nice new locket. So here, let's take that old one off.
No, I don't want a new one.
Annie, what is it?
This locket. My mother and father gave it to me when they left me at the orphanage. And a note, too. They're coming back for me. I know I'm real lucky, being here with you for Christmas. But the one thing I want in all the world is to find my mother and father and be like other kids with folks of my own.
It'll be all right. I'll find them, I'll find your parents for you.
Mr. Warbucks will find your mother and father if he has to pull everyone from his organization on the job. If he has to pull every political string there is to pull.
Up to and including the White House. Annie, give me your lockets.
But Mr. Warbucks...
I understand, but it could be our best clue. We'll have the FBI trace it and find out who bought it.
Okay. And they should have my note, too.
Annie, you may be meeting your mother and father in a couple of days.
Really?
Really?
Oh boy, I gotta write a letter to the kids about this!
What a thing to occur! Finding them, losing her. Oh, you won't be an orphan for long.
Pretty soon, everyone will know I'm looking for my folks, because we're gonna be on the radio. So make sure you listen, okay? So maybe now it's time, and maybe when I wake, they'll be there calling me baby, So maybe now this prayer's the last one of its kind. Won't you please come get your baby? Maybe.
Thank you, Annie, and welcome back to the Occident Hour of Smiles, starring your old softy, Bert Healy! Okay. Good evening, Oliver Warbucks. It's nice of you to drop by.
Good evening, Bert Healy. It's nice to be here.
Oliver Warbucks, I understand you have something to tell us about little Annie here.
Yes, Bert Healy, I am now conducting a coast-to-coast, nationwide search for Annie's parents. Furthermore, I'm offering a certified check for $50,000 to any persons who can prove they are Annie's parents.
Wow!
So, Annie's parents, if you're listening in, write to Oliver Warbucks, care of this station. Thank you, Oliver Warbucks.
Thank you, Bert Healy.
Well, I can see by that old clock on the wall. Another one of our Thursday night get-togethers has gone by faster than you can say Occident. Signing off, Bert Healy. Now, for our spectacular closing act, we have You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile.
Well, Miss Farrell?
Sorry, Annie. I've searched more than 1,000 people claiming to be your parents, but they were all liars and fakes.
Aw, gee.
Are you certain?
Yes, sir. None of them knew about the locket except us.
I was sure somebody was gonna be my mother and father.
I'm so sorry, Annie.
This has just come by a special messenger from the FBI.
Ah, finally. Agent Gunderson of the FBI has located the manufacturer of Annie's locket in Utica, New York.
Oh, boy!
Over 90,000 made and sold.
Aw, gee.
Annie, the FBI doesn't think there's a chance in a million they're going to locate your parents through the locket. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You did your best. Anyway, I guess a kid can get along without their mother and father. You didn't turn out so bad.
Grace,
Yes, sir?
do you have those legal papers I gave you the other day?
They're right here.
Annie, I want to adopt you.
Adopt me?
Yes or no?
If I can't have my real mother and father, then there's no one in the world I'd rather have for a father than you, Mr. Warbucks.
Annie, this isn't going to be an adoption. It's going to be a celebration, and you can have anyone in the world you want to come to it. Who would you like?
Well, I guess I'd like Miss Farrell here, and Mr. Drake, and Miss Pugh, and, well, I guess everybody.
Drake,
Yes, sir.
tell the staff to get spiffed up. They're going to be guests at Annie's adoption party.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and the kids.
Oh, no, it'll be way past their bedtime, but I'll tell you what, we'll have everybody here tomorrow from the orphanage for a big Christmas party.
Miss Hannigan, too.
Miss Hannigan, too, why not?
Together at last, together forever. We're tying a knot they never can sever.
Don't need sunshine now to turn my skies to blue. I don't need anything but you.
Yesterday was plain awful.
You can say that again.
Yesterday was plain awful.
But that's
Not now, that's then. I'm poor as a mouse.
I'm richer than Midas.
But nothing on earth could ever divide us. And if tomorrow I'm an apple seller too, I don't need anything, anything, anything. I don't need anything but you.
Shirley, look. There's our Annie.
Who are you?
Honey, where's your mom and dad?
Mudge is the name. Ralph Mudge. And this here is the wife. Shirley.
And you're Annie Mudge.
Annie Mudge.
We loved you, Annie, but we had to leave you behind.
We've seen a great number of people
I
claiming
expected we wanted proof of who we are, so here's Annie's birth certificate and our driver's licenses.
Ralph, look! Annie's wearing the locket!
Name, Anne Elizabeth Mudge, born to Ralph and Shirley Mudge, New York, New York, October 28th, 1922.
October 28th? That's my birthday.
When we left Annie at the orphanage, we left half of a silver locker with her and kept the other half. It fits perfectly.
Oh, thank God, Ralph. She's our Annie.
Mr. Mudge, what about the money?
Well, we ain't got much, but we'd be glad to give you whatever.
On the other hand, Ralph, remember that little pig farm up in New Jersey? With $50,000, we could sure afford to raise Annie up there right in the country.
Would you mind if Annie stayed here till morning Christmas? Then you can come back and pick up Annie and the check.
Whatever you prefer, sir. Starting from tomorrow, you're going to be spending the rest of your life with us.
Bye, Annie. Love.
Pardon me, Blondie.
Well, we've just heard the most.
Wonderful news!
Annie has found her mother and father. We must celebrate. To Annie Mudge.
To Annie Mudge.
I've lost her. I've lost Annie.
Sir, I have the strangest feeling that I've seen that Mr. Mudge before, and he's not who he says he is.
Then we won't give up till we're certain.
But how?
I'll find a way. I'll go straight to the top, to the President of the United States, even if he is a Democrat.
Silly to cry, nothing to fear. Betcha where they live's as nice as right here. Betcha my life is gonna be swell. Looking at them, it's easy to tell. And maybe I'll forget how nice he was to me, and how I was almost his baby. Maybe. Merry Christmas, Mr. Warbucks. Miss Farrell,
You're up early.
you're up early too.
Yes, dear. We've been up all night, FBI men coming and going. Annie, did you know that President Roosevelt is here?
Really?
Mr. President?
Merry Christmas, President Roosevelt.
Merry Christmas, Annie. Annie, earlier this morning, FBI Director Hoover contacted me with some very sad news. He succeeded in identifying your parents.
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Mudge.
No, dear. David and Margaret Bennett.
But
Annie?
Annie, your mother and father passed away a long time ago.
so you mean I'm an orphan after all?
Are you all right, Annie?
Yes. Because I know they loved me, and they would have come for me if they weren't.
Annie Bennett, I love you.
And I love you too. Now, who the heck are Ralph and Shirley Mudge?
The birth certificate could easily have been forged, but nobody knew about the locket except us.
And the FBI, of course.
And Miss Hannigan.
And
Miss Hannigan!
Miss Hannigan and the children from the orphanage.
Ah, Miss Hannigan, I'm delighted to meet you.
You too, and I know.
Miss Hannigan, let me introduce everybody to you. This is my secretary, Miss Farrell, of course. And this is the President of the United States. And this is my butler, Drake.
Look here, there's presents for all of us.
Mr. Warbucks, this has come from the FBI.
Now it all fits together.
Mr. and Mrs. Mudge.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Well, we didn't want to bother you on Christmas and all, but we just came to pick up Annie and the check.
Ah, yes. The check, of course. Here it is, Mr. Mudge. $50,000 certified.
$50,000 certified. Paid to the order of The jig is up.
Yes, the jig is up. Daniel Francis Hannigan, also known as...
Brewster Hannigan, also known as Ralph Mudge, also known as Danny Dip.
Lewis, turn them over.
And I think this woman's their accomplice. Fa la 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 la. Arrest her too.
I haven't seen these people till yesterday.
Come off it, Aggie.
Annie, tell them how nice I always was to you.
Sorry, Miss Hannigan, but remember the one thing I always told you to do? Never tell a lie! Miss Hannigan's gone for good!
Yay!
And you won't have to work anymore.
Yay!
Yes, girls, for you, and perhaps for all of us, this Christmas is going to be the beginning of a wonderful new life. A new deal. Hey, I rather like that. A new deal.
So do I, Franklin. A new deal.